So I seen some weird news going around about One Piece. So I decided to look into volume 98 of the One Piece SBS. And I gotta say, it was a couple of things I pulled out of there that I thought was very interesting. And the first thing I want to talk about, just to get it out the way, even though it's still interesting, I want to get it out the way though. Sanji being drawn as his future self. Oda did it for other Straw Hats, and now he's finally did it for Sanji. And it was just interesting to see, because from what I've seen, Oda's trying to reflect how much of fatherhood affected Sanji's upbringing, if you get what I mean. When you look at the photos, when you look at the drawings, I should say, Sanji grows up in the good storyline to look more like Zeth, to reflect someone more like Zeth. But when you look at the alternate storyline, he grows up and he looks more like his biological father, Judge, who, quite frankly, isn't a very good person. So it shows how much of an impact Zeth really had on Sanji's life and who he's became as he matured into adulthood. So the next thing I want to talk about is really interesting, because a fan had asked Oda about the card thing that we already knew, how Queen, Jack, they're supposed to represent cards, and Who's Who and Artie and them are, the Toby Ropo are supposed to represent card games, and then you got the numbers. And Oda said, yes, this is supposed to reflect cards and card games. And then Oda proceeded to bring up Doflamingo, who we know is a part of that mix because he's named Joker. But what Oda said, what he decided the mission on his own, is the interesting part about Doflamingo, and I'm getting ready to read it to you right now. By the way, in Dressrosa, Doflamingo being called Joker is a remnant of an initial idea where Doflamingo was going to fight as a powerful companion of Kaido in the Wano country. He's quite the tricky opponent, so I'm glad we got rid of him at Dressrosa. Look, I've been stuck on this one for a while because I'm trying to weigh the pros and cons of Doflamingo being in Wano, being one of the villains in Wano. And I have to say, because I don't think I ever said this, but Dressrosa is one of my favorite arcs in One Piece, specifically because of how much detail Oda goes in with Doflamingo's backstory. And I don't know if he goes that much in depth on his backstory if he wasn't a main villain and he just ended up being one of Kaido's underlings in Wano country. And here's the thing, this is what I wouldn't want to lose from Dressrosa Doflamingo. It's little moments in the anime and in the manga that I thought that was very impactful to me. For example, there's a scene in the anime where Doflamingo is dreaming about his tragic childhood, and this was during the Corazon and Law flashback. Doflamingo is dreaming about his childhood, how he was tortured, the things he went through, him killing his father, his mother dying, all those things. And Doflamingo wakes up in a cold sweat. He's gasping for air, and he immediately goes to drink some alcohol, to me signifying that he's struggling with the pain he dealt with in his past. There's also another scene that happens when you look in the Corazon flashback, specifically when Doflamingo kills Corazon. It's highlighted that Doflamingo isn't a good guy, and I agree. But if you look at that scene where Doflamingo kills his brother Corazon after he felt like he has been betrayed by his brother, this wasn't no thing that Doflamingo was enjoying. Like, it wasn't like he found pleasure in this. You could see on his face that he was visually frustrated. And I think moments like that, scenes like that, reflects how humane Doflamingo actually is. He's a human who ended up losing his way, losing his mind almost. He always was kind of off anyway as a kid, but he almost lost his mind, started to deteriorate over the years and drove him into madness. And we see the Doflamingo we got today, where he actually did have things that he struggled with himself, and as a result of those things, as a result of that tragic upbringing, he turned into the villain he is today. And I don't know if we go in Wano if we would get that much detail into his backstory, but putting all of that to the side, I gotta say, Doflamingo in Wano? Yo, Doflamingo in Wano? That laugh? That sick bastard in Wano? And what really started to click in my mind is the potential of a one-on-one fight between Law and Doflamingo. A one-on-one fight, a stronger Law who is now on par with Doflamingo in a one-on-one fight with all that emotion and all that history. They get into a battle versus one another. You don't think that would be amazing? So it's weighing the pros and the cons. And with me, I'm happy either way because I think the story is great either way. But it would be interesting to see how Doflamingo's role would be in Wano. Who would end up fighting him? How would he? Because he still, do we not realize that Doflamingo held an entire country hostage? Like that's the potential Doflamingo has being in Wano. The guy, and then not to mention that he's extremely intelligent. If Doflamingo is placed in Wano, he immediately becomes one of the top 5 most intelligent people in Wano country. That fast, especially when we think of the antagonists. I think Doflamingo is more clever than Kaido. I think Doflamingo is more clever than Big Mom, or King, or Queen, or Jack. So he will play a huge role from not only a physical standpoint, but a diplomatic or tactical standpoint. That's that. So Oda was asked if the Straw Hats who don't have devil fruits was to get devil fruits, what devil fruit would they be? And he goes through all of them, but the one I want to focus on is Zoro, who gets the fish fruit. Model Cereal? I think that's how you pronounce it. We just got the full name of Kaido's devil fruit. Just like that, Oda gave it to us. So I looked into the meaning of what cereal mean, and it just means blue dragon. It's just a mythological dragon from, I forget what culture it's from, but it's a mythological dragon. It means blue dragon. And what Kaido is, obviously. So, couple of things. I don't know. I don't think Kaido transformed from a koi and got boosted into a dragon from awakening his devil fruit or anything like that, because the model is actually dragon. You know what I mean? The model is blue dragon. That's one. But another thing that Oda says that's interesting is that he wouldn't want Zoro to have the devil fruit, but instead he would want his sword to eat devil fruit. Oda has an incredibly creative mind. And the fact that he's saying that is very dangerous, seeing as if we right now, Zoro just threw out this crazy attack that cut off the horn of Onigashima. Like, Zoro's in the mix, and there's a lot of speculation that Zoro could be the one to land the final blow on Kaido. Being as it is, this is Zoro's arc. This is Wano country. This is samurai world we're living in. So I don't think it's out the realm of possibility that Zoro does land the final blow, even though I would say that Luffy would do most of the damage, have the most impact, seeing as he's the main character. I don't think it's out the realm of possibility to say that Zoro lands the final slash or has the most impactful slash. If Kaido was to die, like, we still don't know what's going to happen at the end of this. Will Kaido die or not? Because the Straw Hats don't usually kill their opponents. But I think Kaido was someone that has to be taken out. Plus, Kaido has this desire to die anyway. What will happen to Kaido's devil fruit anyway if he truly does die at the end of Wano, by the end of Wano? There are speculations that it could be Blackbeard to swoop in and take the devil fruit. But I have to say this. Oda simply throwing this out there, we have to keep the possibilities open that it is possible for Zoro to get this devil fruit. I know Oda's just throwing something out there, and I doubt it happened, but there's also theories going around that Vegapunk might show up in Wano country, and for all we know, Vegapunk could be on the revolutionary side or anything of that nature, and he could give the Straw Hats information on how to get a weapon, an inanimate object, to eat a devil fruit. I'm just saying, it's possible. I doubt it. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about that I thought was very interesting. A fan asks Oda, will Gear 5th be a thing too? That's what it was. A fan asked him that. This is Oda's response. So, will 5 be a thing? Right now, the enemy we have to defeat is the man said to essentially be the world's strongest. Because of that, the world is in an age of transitioning from 4G to 5G. G means gear, right? Now I know Oda's a funny guy. He got his puns, he got his little slick little jokes that he throw in. But Oda, to me, when he speaks and when he jokes like this, there's always an underlying truth somewhere in the mix. And I do think there's a possibility, especially if Luffy has truly mastered Gear 4th. Like, we don't see any stamina issues. He don't have to go and run away and recover his haki or anything like that. I think there's a possibility that Luffy can be transitioning into the realm where he does get Gear 5th. Now, what Gear 5th would be, I would say it has to be something that's surrounded around Rio. I don't know exactly what it is, but remember, Gear 5th doesn't have to be an entire transformation. Like Gear 3rd, it's just him blowing up his fist. You get what I mean? So Gear 5th doesn't necessarily have to be an entire transformation, a whole form. It can simply be another powerful technique that Luffy adds to his repertoire. So I do think it's possible that Luffy get Gear 5th. Do I think he gets it in Wano? If I had to guess, I would say no, probably the next arc or an arc after that, but I could be wrong. He could be starting right now, and as we get to the next few arcs dealing with Elbaf and Blackbeard and the Marines or whatever, he slowly start to master whatever Gear 5th is. So I do think it's possible, even though Oda was obviously making a joke here, I do think it's possible that Luffy can achieve Gear 5th. And I will say this, I think it's most likely a thing. Gear 5th is most likely a thing. I'm just not sure how soon it will be a thing. But that's the end of the video, man. Like the video if you like the video. I actually had fun reading through this whole thing. I read through the whole thing, but I picked out some of the things I thought was the most interesting. But anyway, like the video if you like the video. Dislike the video if you dislike the video. Subscribe to see more of my content. Comment down below what you think of the video. And as always, peace, love, and positivity. And I'm out this bitch, man. Peace.